You know the funny thing about small talk? Most people treat it like the opening band at a concert, something you tolerate just to get to the main act. Deep conversations, real connections, that's what we all want, right? But if you put your phone down for 2 minutes and actually looked around, you notice something. Every interaction, every relationship, begins with small talk. Even your best friend started from some awkward line like, "So what classes are you taking?" Or something equally clumsy. Now here's an unpopular opinion. Small talk isn't really about what you say, at least not most of the time. It's actually more about making the other person feel like a real human being instead of a Sims character waiting for commands. That's literally it. You don't need a cheat code, a script, or even charisma. You just need one skill: active observation. Okay, I know it sounds like something a nerd would preach, but stay with me. Active observation is simply paying attention to the person in front of you like they're the only thing that exists in that moment. Not their vibe, not their aura, just the actual details. Their shirt, their drink, the way they keep glancing at the clock like they'd rather be anywhere else. You notice these things, then comment on them in a way that invites a reply instead of demanding one. That's it. Honestly, I could end the video here, but stick around, trust me, it's worth it. Here's why this works. First, people love to feel seen, not in a cheesy, "You're so mysterious" way, but in a simple, "Hey, I actually notice you exist" way. Basic psychology. Humans crave acknowledgement. Second, it's disarming. When you make an observation, you're not pressuring them to perform. You're not hitting them with, "So what do you do? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" You're just tossing a ball in their direction and seeing if they want to toss it back. Example, you're at a coffee shop and the person next to you is holding a book. Most people would say, "What are you reading?" because they think it's polite. Wrong. That's pressure. You're asking them to summarize or justify the book. Instead say, "That book looks like it's been through some things." Boom. An observation, neutral but engaging. Maybe they laugh and say, "Yeah, this is my third reread." Or, "It's terrible, I'm finishing it out of spite." Either way, you've started a conversation without making them feel like they're in an interview. Or let's say you're at a party, which for introverts feels like punishment. Someone walks by with a plate of food that looks questionable. Instead of pretending you didn't see it, you say, "Is that the chicken? It looks like it fought back." Again, you're not interrogating them. You're making an observation that invites humor. Maybe they agree, maybe they defend the chicken. Either way, the door is open. The beauty of active observation is it works everywhere. Work meetings, first dates, family gatherings, you name it. It's flexible, simple, and best of all, it takes the spotlight off you. You don't need to be charming or witty. You just need to notice things and point them out. That's it. But now that you know active observation is about noticing details, patterns, behaviors, the little stuff most people overlook, what if I told you there's a way to apply the same principle to learning? That's where today's sponsor comes in. Brilliant is basically active observation but for your brain. Instead of helping you notice people, it teaches you to notice patterns, solve real problems, and pick up useful skills. Whether it's math, programming, data analysis, or even AI, Brilliant breaks everything into interactive lessons that actually make sense. Brilliant builds problem-solving skills by letting you solve, well, problems. No boring lectures or memorization, just real knowledge you can use instantly. It's also stupidly easy to make learning a habit. Log in for a few minutes, do a lesson or two, and walk away feeling like you actually learned something. Into math? You can start from basics or jump into advanced topics. Into coding? Their programming courses let you build with Python from day one. Whether it's games, apps, or showing off your nerd points, Brilliant has you covered. Alright, back to active observation. Here's how it looks in action. First, you have to train yourself to notice details. That means putting your phone down, taking your headphones out, and paying attention to your surroundings like you're the main character in a detective show. What are people wearing? What are they doing? Are they fidgeting, checking the time, scrolling nonstop? These tiny clues tell you a lot. Second, practice turning those observations into comments. This is where most people freeze. They overthink it. They worry about sounding weird or intrusive. But here's the truth. No one cares as much as you think. So when you see someone in a bright yellow jacket, just say, "That's a bold color choice. I respect it." Done. It doesn't have to be original. You're just opening the door. Finally, get comfortable with silence. Not every observation becomes a conversation, and that's fine. The goal isn't to force anything. You're giving people the option to engage. If they don't, move on. No harm done. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. You start realizing small talk isn't about impressing people or proving you're interesting. It's about being present, paying attention, and making people feel seen. That's all. It's not deep, but it works. And once you get good at it, it's actually fun. Now you might think this sounds too simple to work, but ask yourself, when was the last time someone noticed something about you and mentioned it in a normal, non-weird way? Probably not recently. People are too caught up in their own heads. So when you do this, it feels like a glitch in the matrix. People notice. Another example, you're at a Halloween party, another introvert nightmare. Someone walks in wearing a tie covered in tiny rubber ducks. Most people ignore it or say, "Nice tie." Not you. You say, "Okay, I need the story behind the ducks." Suddenly their accessory becomes a conversation starter, and they feel interesting. This works with anything. Their shoes? Those look way too clean to be comfortable. Their coffee? That's a lot of whipped cream for someone who doesn't look like they're celebrating. Their dog? I feel like your dog judges people, and I respect that. See? You're not trying to be clever. You're just noticing things and turning them into mildly interesting comments. One more thing, you have to mean it. People can smell fake interest from a mile away. If you're only doing this because you think you should, it won't land. You have to genuinely care, even if it's just for 5 minutes. That's where most introverts get confused. We think we're bad at small talk because we hate shallow conversations. But small talk isn't shallow if you're actually paying attention. It's just the first layer. The more you practice active observation, the more you realize people are fascinating, even when they're talking about boring things. So whenever you're in a situation where small talk is inevitable, and let's be honest, that's almost every social situation, use active observation. Notice something, comment on it, and let things unfold naturally. You don't have to be the popular kid. You just have to be present. Once you nail this, something cool happens. Small talk stops feeling like a chore. It becomes a little game. A fun one. You start enjoying noticing things and watching people react. You stop worrying about what to say because you realize it doesn't matter. What matters is being present, paying attention, and making people feel seen. That's the whole point. So next time you're in line at a coffee shop, notice the person in front of you. What are they wearing? Holding? How are they standing? Pick one thing, make a comment, and see what happens. Worst case, they don't respond, feel weird, and life goes on. Best case, you just made a connection.